Welcome to the complete story of Kingdom Hearts 2. The game that took something great and made it even bigger and better. It also made it a whole lot crazier, as this is the game where it all starts coming together. It's not just a sequel of the original Kingdom Hearts, but also Chain of Memories, and later 358 over 2 days. A lot has happened since Sora, Donald, and Goofy saved the world. And now they're gonna have to do it all over again. I'm Peter from Birds of Play, and in this video I hope you'll join me as we continue the story of Kingdom Hearts. So settle in as we unlock the complete story of Kingdom Hearts 2, one keyhole at a time. In Twilight Town, a place caught in the amber glow between day and night, a boy named Roxas spends the last days of summer vacation. He dreams of strange things, men in black coats, a boy he doesn't recognize, sleeping in a pod of white light, a weapon shaped like a key. The images blur and scatter the moment he opens his eyes, leaving behind only a feeling that fades with the morning. Roxas doesn't dwell on it. He has friends, Hainer, Pence, and Olette. Together, the four of them are determined to squeeze every last drop out of summer vacation before it slips away. 7 days. That's all they have left. On the first day, trouble finds them before they find it. Cypher, the self-appointed tough guy of Twilight Town, has been spreading rumors that Roxas and his friends are behind a string of thefts around town. Things have gone missing, and fingers are being pointed at them. Roxas decides the only way to clear their names is to find the real culprit. But before they can even begin, something else goes missing. Not only a thing this time, but also the word describing it. They can't say it. It's simply gone. They confront Cypher and his gang. Roxas beats Cypher in a scuffle. But when Pence tries to capture the moment with a photograph, a strange white creature appears from nowhere, snatches the camera, and vanishes just as quickly. Roxas gives chase, following it through the streets and into the forest, all the way to the gates of an old, crumbling mansion at the edge of town. The creature is waiting for him. It calls him its liege. Roxas doesn't understand. He tries to fight it, but his toy sword is useless. Until it isn't. In his hands, the plastic blade shifts, reshapes, and becomes something else entirely. A keyblade. He doesn't know what it is or why it came to him, only that it works. The creature falls, leaving behind a pile of stolen photographs in its wake. And just like that, the missing word returns. Photo. Back at their hideout, they examine the stolen pictures and notice something unsettling. Every single one of them is a picture of Roxas. They joke about it, saying maybe someone wanted to steal the real Roxas. Elsewhere, two figures watch from the shadows. Diz, a man wrapped in crimson bandages, whose face reveals nothing, and a man cloaked in the Organization's black coat. They have been monitoring Roxas for some time. The man in black wonders aloud why Nobodies would steal photographs. And Diz explains that to them, Roxas and the photos are the same. Both are nothing but data. As Organization XIII draws closer to their position, Diz urges that Naminé must hurry. Sora's memories need to be restored, and quickly. On the second day, Roxas wakes with a strange new awareness. The Keyblade lingers in the back of his mind, like a word on the tip of his tongue. As he meets his friends, the plan for the day is simple. They want to go to the beach, to go on a trip before summer ends. But they need money for the train, so they split up to earn it by performing odd jobs around town. They earn enough, but just as they are about to purchase the train tickets, the man in the black coat intercepts Roxas and steals the money. None of his friends see the man. None of them notice anything at all. Instead of going to the beach, they climb the clock tower as the sun begins its long, lazy descent. They sit on the ledge, legs dangling over nothing, and eat sea salt ice cream together. sweet and salty. Roxas tells them about the man in the black coat, about the strange question the man asked him. "Can you feel Sora?" he had said, though the meaning of his words is lost on all of them. Elsewhere, Diz and the man in the black coat discuss their progress. Diz notes that they couldn't have let the beach trip happen. Building a simulated beach would have given their enemies another way in, another crack in the illusion they've so carefully maintained. On the third day, the dreams come with more force. Not fragments this time, but scenes. Sora, though Roxas still doesn't know his name, battling creatures of darkness and making friends across worlds Roxas has never seen. As Roxas goes to meet his friends, time stops. Not metaphorically. The world around him freezes. People mid-step, birds mid-flight. And standing before him, where no one had been a moment ago, stands a girl with blonde hair, wearing a white dress. Her name is Namine. She tells him she just wanted to meet him, once, before everything changes. Her hello is brief, and her goodbye even briefer. And then the world starts moving again as if nothing happened. His friends didn't see her. No one did. Roxas runs after her, but the white creatures, Nobodies, swarm him again. Namine calls out to him, tells him to use the Keyblade, and suddenly Roxas is somewhere else, inside his own heart, a place of stained glass. The Keyblade returns to his hand, and he faces down a towering Nobody, larger than anything he's fought before. Namine pulls him free of the darkness and begins to explain, begins to tell him what he is, what all of this means. But the man in the black coat steps in and hurls Roxas back into his reality before she can finish. It's better that he doesn't know the truth. On the fourth day, the dreams are of friends. Not Roxas's friends, someone else's. A girl standing on an island, the ocean behind her. Kairi. The name surfaces in his mind like something carried in on the tide, but daytime brings other things. Today is the Struggle Tournament, Twilight Town's annual combat event, where fighters square off with foam bats for the title of champion. The current champion is Setzer, a silver-haired showman who fights with theatrical flair. Roxas and Hainer enter, and from the sidelines their friends cheer. But something is wrong. One of the contenders, Vivi, isn't Vivi at all. It's a nobody wearing a mask. Time freezes again, and Roxas is forced to fight the imposter alone. When the nobodies are dealt with, a new figure steps from the shadows. Red hair, green eyes. A grin that carries the memory of warmth, even though the man behind it claims to have no heart. He introduces himself as Axel, and says he's come to bring Roxas back to the organization. Roxas stares at him blankly. He doesn't remember Axel, doesn't remember any organization. Axel readies his chakrams, prepared to take Roxas by force, but Diz intervenes, freezing the scene and pulling Roxas out before Axel can reach him. Time resumes. Roxas is back in the arena. He beats Setzer and wins the tournament. His friends celebrate. But as they sit on the clock tower afterward, Roxas slips and falls. And as he tumbles through the air, something happens. His heart reaches out, across worlds, across the divide between what is real and what is simulated. And for a single, breathless moment, it touches another. Kairi. Standing on the shores of the Destiny Islands, struggling to remember a name she should know as well as her own. Roxas feels what she feels, the ache of something forgotten, the desperate pull of a promise left unkept. And from somewhere, deeper still, Sora himself stirs, just enough to whisper through the static of sleep and remind her. Kairi remembers. She writes a letter, folds it carefully, places it in a bottle, and casts it into the sea, hoping the tide will carry it to someone she can barely recall. Diz observes all of this. He explains to the man in the black coat that when Roxas met Namine, it created a chain reaction. Their hearts, and the hearts they are connected to, brushed against one another. Kairi to Sora, Naminé to Roxas. He turns to the man in the black coat, asking for his name. The man removes his hood and introduces himself as Ansem, a revelation that Diz finds most amusing. At the same time, elsewhere, Axel receives his orders. He is to bring Roxas back, or destroy him. Those are the only options. Fail, and Axel himself will be turned into a dusk, a mindless, hollow shell of a nobody, stripped of everything that makes him who he is. On the fifth day, Roxas and his friends decide to investigate the strange events that have been plaguing the town. There are rumors, 7 of them, called the 7 Wonders of Twilight Town, mysterious phenomena that no one can explain. The investigation takes them across the town, from one oddity to the next, until Roxas finds himself standing at the gates of the old mansion in the forest. The same mansion Roxas chased the creature to on the first day. And there, his heart reaches out again. Not to Kairi this time, but to Naminé. He sees her drawings, sketches, pinned to the white walls of a white room. One shows a boy with red hair and a boy with blonde hair. It's Axel and Roxas, best friends, Naminé tells him. Another drawing shows 3 figures, a boy with spiky brown hair, a duck, and a dog-like knight. Sora, Donald, and Goofy. Roxas recognizes them. He's seen them before, in his dreams. Naminé tells him the truth, or at least as much of it as she can before their time runs out. She's piecing Sora's memories back together, one fragment at a time. But the process affects more than just Sora. It touches everyone who ever knew him. It touches Roxas most of all. Because Roxas and Sora are connected. 2 halves of a whole. And soon, Naminé says, she will need Roxas to complete what she started. Watching from afar, Diz turns to Ansem. Sora's memories are falling back into place. The process is nearly complete. And once Naminé finishes her work, Diz says, it will be time to dispose of her, and will no longer be needed for his revenge. On the 6th day, the dreams are no longer fragments. They are whole. Roxas stands at the edge of a great door and seals it shut with a keyblade. Except, it isn't him. It's Sora. He dreams of Sora, Donald, and Goofy setting out to find Riku and King Mickey. And then a different dream, darker. Roxas and Riku, both wearing the organization's black coats, their keyblades locked together as they do battle amidst a towering city. When he wakes, the town feels different, emptier. As he wanders the streets, Roxas finds that pieces of his existence are disappearing. People who should know him don't. Places that should remember him have forgotten. He's being erased, one detail at a time, from a world that was never real to begin with. Axel finds him, one last time. He asks Roxas to come back. But before anything can happen, Diz freezes Axel mid-step and tells Roxas to come to the mansion. It's time. Roxas walks through the gates and into the manor. At the manor, the memories come flooding back. All of them. The organization, the missions, the clock tower, the ice cream. Roxas asks what a nobody is. But before Naminé can answer, she's taken away. Diz's work is done with her. And then the final truth. The town, Hena, Pence, Olette, the clock tower, the ice cream. The summer that was almost perfect. None of it was real. Twilight Town, this version of it, is a simulation. A digital cage, designed to hold Roxas in place until Sora was ready to wake. Every friendship, every sunset, every lazy afternoon, all of it constructed, maintained, and monitored by Diz to keep one boy prisoner. Axel catches up. He breaks through the simulation's barriers, because that is what Axel does. He burns through anything that stands between him and the people he cares about. But Roxas has his memories now. He remembers everything. And it changes nothing, because it is too late. They fight. Roxas wielding 2 keyblades against a friend he only just remembered. The fire and the light clash in the basement of a mansion that exists between real and unreal. Roxas wins, and Axel disappears, promising to meet again in the next life, even though Roxas is the only one who will soon be reborn. Deeper in the mansion, Roxas passes Donald and Goofy, still sleeping in their pods. He finds Diz waiting for him, and Diz explains it plainly. Nobodies are the halves of people left behind when someone becomes a Heartless. They are made of darkness, and they are not meant to exist. Roxas becomes angry. Diz smiles. He tells Roxas to take that anger and share it with Sora. The boy could use a little fire, as he is too nice for his own good. Diz disappears, and Sora's chamber opens. A pod of white light in a white room, and inside it, a boy who has been sleeping for a year. Roxas stands before it and knows what comes next. He will step forward. He will disappear. Everything he is, every memory, every moment in the clock tower, every bar of sea salt ice cream, shared with people who mattered more than anything, will fold into someone else. Someone who doesn't even know his name. Roxas looks at the pod. He thinks about summer, about how it always ends too soon. Looks like my summer vacation is over, he says, as someone else's adventure begins again. As Roxas fades, a train pulls into Twilight Town. Out of it steps King Mickey, dressed head to toe in the same black coat worn by the Organization. He has come looking for someone, and he's right on time. In the white room beneath the mansion, the pod opens, and Sora awakens. The moment his eyes find Donald and Goofy, already awake, already waiting, he throws himself at them, arms wide, stumbling on legs that have grown without his permission. A year has passed. He's taller, broader, 15 years old, and none the wiser for it. Jiminy Cricket, small enough to have stepped tucked in Sora's hood, pops out and stretches, as though waking from a Sunday nap. None of them know where they are. None of them remember how they got here. The last thing any of them recall is sealing the door, and then nothing. A gap. A silence, where a year should be. Jiminy reaches for his journal, the careful, page-by-page chronicle of every world they've visited, every friend they've made, every battle won and lesson learned. It should be full. Instead, the pages are blank, every entry erased, every note wiped clean. All except one. An entry that is only 2 words long. Thank Namine. A name none of them recognize. They step out of the mansion and into the amber glow of Twilight Town. The light settles on Sora's shoulders like something warm and familiar. It feels like he's been there before, even though he can't remember. They run into Hainer, Pence, and Olette. Pence and Olette tell them that someone matching King Mickey's description has been asking around town, looking for them. Sora's heart leaps. They make for the train station immediately. But the Nobodies find them first. White, writhing creatures that twist through the air like living ribbons. Sora fights, and the Keyblade still answers his call. But these enemies are nothing like the Heartless. They don't lunge and claw. They bend, they weave. and just when the swarm threatens to overwhelm them, a flash of light tears through their ranks. And there he is. Mickey. Keyblade drawn, small and fierce, and unmistakable. But Mickey doesn't stay. He presses a pouch of money into Sora's hand, the same money that was taken from Roxas, and tells them,
"You got to board the train and leave town, haha! The train knows the way, haha!"
They need to go. He'll explain everything later, and before Sora can even form a question, Mickey turns and vanishes. At the station, Hana, Pence, and Olette come running after them. They came to see Sora off. None of them can say exactly why. They don't know him. They never met him. And yet, something in them insisted they be here to see him off. Sora feels tears on his face. He doesn't understand them, doesn't know where they're coming from. He wipes them off away, embarrassed, and tries to laugh it off, but they keep falling. Somewhere, deep inside him, in a place he can't reach, someone is saying goodbye. Not to the town, but to his friends. Back in Twilight Town, in the quiet after Sora's departure, the man in the black coat finds Axel and Naminé. He tells them to go, to disappear. He will hide their survival from Diz, cover their tracks, erase any trace that they made it out. He owes them that much, he says, for what they did at Castle Oblivion. The train carries Sora, Donald, and Goofy between worlds. They get off at the foot of a tower that rises into the sky, the mysterious tower. And blocking the entrance, with the confidence of someone who has no idea how outmatched he is, stands Pete. Pete, big, bumbling, and loyal to Maleficent. He's been traveling between worlds on the witch's behalf, recruiting Heartless, laying groundwork, doing the thankless labor of a villain's henchman. Sora tells him that Maleficent is gone, destroyed. Pete refuses to hear it, but in the middle of his bluster, he lets something useful slip. This tower belongs to Master Yen Sid. Donald and Goofy freeze. They know that name. Yen Sid is King Mickey's teacher, a sorcerer of enormous power. They rush past Pete without another word, leaving him at the door. But as they climb the winding staircase, a question begins to nag at them. If the Heartless were defeated, if Sora sealed the door, if the worlds were saved, then why isn't the fighting over? Why are there still enemies pouring out of the dark? Why are the worlds still in danger? The answer awaits at the top of the tower. Master Yen Sid greets them and asks if they've seen the king. They say they did, but that they didn't get a chance to talk to him. Master Yen Sid comments that the king has been quite busy of late. Therefore, the task of instructing the three of them will fall to Master Yen Sid. Master Yen Sid tells them that they did indeed stop a great many Heartless, but that the darkness that they are born from still lingers in every heart. Furthermore, they will not only be facing Heartless this time around. He tells them that when a person with a strong heart and will is consumed by darkness, when they become a Heartless, something else is left behind. The body, the shell, the will that once drove them. That remnant doesn't simply vanish. It becomes something new. Something called a nobody. Most nobodies are mindless. The Dusks, those white, writhing creatures Sora has already encountered, are the most common. Empty husks that move on instinct and nothing more. But there are exceptions. When the heart that was lost belonged to someone truly powerful, the nobody that remains can think, can plan, can remember what it once was, and hunger to become whole again. A group of such nobodies exist. They call themselves Organization XIII, and they are Sora's new enemy. Each one a shadow cast by someone who fell to darkness. Each one searching for a way to reclaim what was taken from them. And at their head stands a leader whose ambitions stretch far beyond simply getting their heart back. Yen Sid tells Sora that Mickey and Riku are already out there, fighting the organization in their own way, but they can't do it alone. Sora is needed. his Keyblade is needed. And so, once again, the boy who just wanted to find his friends is asked to save the world. All of them. Before he leaves, Sid sends Sora to the chamber next door, where 3 fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, are waiting for him. They take one look at the boy in his 2 small clothes, exchange a knowing glance, and get to work. What they give him is more than a new outfit. The garments are woven with magic, designed to channel the bond Sora carries in his heart. Each connection he holds, each friendship, each promise, each memory of someone who matters, can be drawn upon and transformed into raw power. With Goofy at his side, Sora can surge into a form built for close combat, twin Keyblades blazing. With Donald, he shifts into something swifter, gliding across the battlefield and striking from a distance. The bond with Mickey unlocks a form of devastating precision. And deeper still, in the place where Roxas rests without Sora knowing it, lies a power unlike any other, a form of absolute, overwhelming finality. But the darkness is always there too, always waiting. And if Sora's heart falters, even for a moment, it will seize control and turn him into something feral and unrecognizable. Sid summons the Gummy Ship, their old vessel, rebuilt and ready, and explains one final detail. The pathways between worlds that Sora once traveled are gone, sealed shut by his own hand when he closed the door at the end of the last journey. But new paths exist, hidden gates, scattered across the worlds, that only a Keyblade can detect and unlock. They will be Sora's road forward. Sora, Donald, and Goofy salute the old master, and the 3 of them set off, stepping into the Gummy Ship and launching into the space between worlds, ready for whatever comes next. They don't look back. If they did, they might notice something happening in the room they just left. From the shadows, something stirs. A raven appears, carrying Maleficent's cloak. The fairies go to warn Sid, and meanwhile, Maleficent makes her return. As Sora, Donald, and Goofy set out again, their first stop is Hollow Bastion, a world they remember all too well. The last time they were here, it was Maleficent's fortress, crawling with darkness. Now, it's something else. Not safe exactly, not yet, but trying to be. The Hollow Bastion Restoration Committee has been at work. Sora is reunited with Leon, Yuffie, Aerith, and Sid. They welcome Sora, Donald, and Goofy, and for a brief moment, it almost feels like a homecoming. It doesn't last. Leon plans to show Sora what they're up against, but as they try to leave, Merlin appears and reminds Aerith to give them their cards as honorary members of the Hollow Bastion Restoration Committee. After receiving the cards, they chase after Leon, and he shows them what they're up against. Heartless, Nobodies, both at once, swarming through the outskirts, probing the walls. 2 different enemies with 2 different agendas, and Hollow Bastion is caught in the middle. Then the organization makes its entrance. Its members appear on a ledge above, cloaked and hooded. Sora drives them away, but one remains. He remarks on how much Sora looks like Roxas. Sora thinks he's talking nonsense, but the organization member only seems to find this amusing. They say nothing more and disappear. As Sora raises the honorary member card as proof of his identity, the Keyblade senses a keyhole, allowing them passage to other worlds. Back in the round room at the castle that never was, the Organization XIII members discuss their impressions of Sora. Their opinions differ, but one thing is for certain. The wielder of the Keyblade will play a role in their plans. The next world is the Beast's Castle, a place whose owners Sora remembers from their last journey, when the Beast crossed worlds out of sheer willpower to find Belle. Sora finds the Beast's castle in disarray, and as they look for the Beast, they are attacked by Heartless. The Beast barges in, disposing of the Heartless. However, the beast didn't come to save them, but rather his magical rose. As he carries the rose to safety, he acts like he doesn't know them. As they explore the castle further, they find Belle, who remembers them and is glad to see them again. She tells them that the beast has changed, and that there is something feeding on every doubt and resentment buried in his massive heart. The servants are terrified. Belle refuses to give up on him and asks Sora to help. She needs him to free the servants, to understand what's happening, and most of all, to bring the beast back from whatever ledge he's standing on. Sora does as she asks. He reaches the servants, and they explain how in the past the beast was cursed by an enchantress for his selfishness and turned into a beast. As they find the beast again, a member of Organization XIII is whispering in his ear, telling him not to trust Belle, that his idea of lifting the curse by loving and being loved in return is futile. Sora, Donald, and Goofy manage to snap the beast out of his spiral of desperation and bring him back to his senses. He tells them that he was being controlled by a man named Saldin, who used his darkness to control him. Goofy believes that the reason the beast put the servants into the dungeon was so that he wouldn't harm them while he was being controlled. But the beast can't know for sure. Regardless, his servants believe in him and his kindness. As they look for Belle to make things right, they save her from a monstrous Heartless in the ballroom. Saldin reappears to taunt them before disappearing again. Sora, Donald, and Goofy explain Saldin's plan to the beast. Saldin's plan must have been to stoke the darkness in the beast's heart until it consumes him, turning him into a Heartless. From the wreckage, you would then harvest the nobody of one of the most powerful beings in any world. As Belle and the beast are reunited, all is forgiven. Although Belle wishes he would learn to trust her more, the servants say that they still believe that the curse might be broken before the last rose petal falls. Just then, Sora's keyblade resonates with the rose, opening another passage to another world. Traveling next to the land of dragons, they arrive in a world at war. The Huns, led by the ruthless Shan Yu, have swept down from the north, and they haven't come alone. The Heartless march with them, drawn to the conflict like moths to a flame. Sora finds a familiar face in the chaos. Mushu, the tiny, self-important dragon he befriended on his first journey, is here, serving as a guardian to a young woman named Fa Mulan. Mulan has disguised herself as a man, calling herself Ping, and enlisted in the Imperial Army to protect her aging father from the draft. She is brave and uncertain in equal measure, but she has no idea what she's walking into. Sora, Donald, and Goofy fall in line with Mulan to help her keep up appearances as a man. As they arrive at the camp, they get in a fight with 3 other recruits, Yao, Ling, and Chen Po, until the fight is broken up by Shang, the dreamiest of men, and their captain. They perform various tasks to try to impress the captain, and then at last they go hunting for Shan Yu. But the whole thing was a trap laid by Shan Yu, who ambushes their forces. To make things right, they track down Shan Yu and the Heartless and face them in battle. Mulan uses the lay of the land to their advantage, causing an avalanche to decimate Shan Yu's forces. As a result of her bravery, she finally wins Shang's trust. However, Mushu speaks out of turn, revealing that Mulan is in fact a woman. Shang is devastated that his most trusted soldier is a woman. He says that the punishment for high treason and dishonoring the Chinese army is death. But instead of giving them the death penalty, he tells them to leave and never look back. Thus, he repays his debt to them for saving his life. As Shang and what remains of the army return to the Emperor, Mulan and the others are left behind. But they soon discover that Shan Yu is still alive as he emerges from the snow. Shan Yu is heading for the Imperial City, and despite having been forsaken by Shang, Mulan believes she must warn him. Together they arrive just in time to face Shan Yu and finally defeat him. The Emperor himself appears before them as China watches on. He says to Mulan, "I've heard a great deal about you, Fa Mulan. You stole your father's armor, ran away from home, impersonated an imperial soldier. You deceived your commanding officer, shamed the entire Chinese army, and dishonored your family name. You're a young woman, and in the end, you have saved us all." The people of China cheer for Fa Mulan, and the Emperor presents her with Shan Yu's sword, so that the world will know what she has done for China. The Keyblade resonates with Shan Yu's sword, revealing another keyhole, allowing them passage to another world. With China safe, Sora, Donald, and Goofy continue on their journey, leaving Mulan and Shang to work out what they mean to one another. Next, they travel to the Olympus Colosseum, home to Hercules, the golden boy of the gods, and to more trouble than any one hero should have to handle. But Sora doesn't arrive at the Colosseum this time. He arrives beneath it, in the underworld. There they run into a woman called Meg, who's being chased by Heartless. Once they get talking, they realize Meg knows Hercules, meaning they have a friend in common. In fact, Meg is on her way to meet Hades, to ask him to let Hercules rest a little from his constant fighting. But Sora and his friends decide to go in her place, as it is too dangerous for her to go. On the way, they run into someone from the organization, but the black-caped man disappears as soon as they see him, at least for now. Sitting on his throne, Hades is visited by Pete. Pete suggests that Hades bring back a dead warrior to take care of Hercules, and Hades has just the warrior in mind. As Pete watches on, Hades summons the strongest warrior he can think of from among the dead, a swordsman named Auron. The deal is simple: fight for Hades, kill Hercules, turn the hero into a Heartless. Auron listens to the terms, considers them for about half a second, and refuses, saying to Hades, "This is my story, and you're not a part of it." Auron draws his blade and fights back. Sora arrives in time and stands beside him, and together they make their escape, even as they are forced to face the monstrous three-headed Cerberus to escape the underworld's depths. Back at the Colosseum, Meg tries to get Hercules to take a break, but he says he can't let the people down, even though he is visibly fatigued. But Hades doesn't quit. He has devised a cruel plan to kidnap Meg, Hercules' beloved, to lure Sora into removing a seal placed by Zeus himself, a lock that holds back the worst horrors of the underworld. In front of the door to the seal, they encounter the organization member from before. It is Demyx, the organization's most reluctant member, who mistakes Sora for Roxas before scrambling away. Sora uses the Keyblade to rescue Meg, but afterwards Pete springs an ambush, and Hercules arrives just in time to bail them out. They chase Pete off together, but the victory costs them. While they were underground, a Hydra attacked the Colosseum above, reducing it to rubble. Hercules is exhausted, spent. So Sora steps up, covers for his friend, and puts the creature down. He unlocks the next passage and leaves the Colosseum behind, as it begins the slow work of rebuilding. Suddenly, Merlin pulls them back to Hollow Bastion with urgent news. Something is wrong with Winnie the Pooh's world, the storybook that contains the 100-acre wood, that gentle, golden corner of existence, where nothing truly terrible is supposed to happen, has been targeted by the Heartless. Its pages have been torn and scrambled, and the world inside is fractured into disconnected chapters. Sora goes in, page by page, chapter by chapter. He sets the 100-acre wood right again, reconnects Pooh with Piglet, with Tigger, with Eeyore and Rabbit, and all the friends who drifted apart when the world came undone. It's quieter work than fighting Heartless in the underworld, but it matters just as much. Some worlds are saved with a Keyblade. Others are saved by simply showing up and putting things back where they belong. Meanwhile, in the shadows of Hollow Bastion itself, Maleficent takes up residence. She has returned, and is fully intent on resuming her previous plan for Kingdom Hearts. Pete fills her in on everything she's missed. The organization, the Nobodies. Maleficent absorbs it all and begins to recalculate. Later, a distress signal arrives from Disney Castle. Sora, Donald, and Goofy respond immediately and find the castle under siege. Heartless pour through the corridors, pressing toward the throne room. They fight their way to Queen Minnie, who explains that the castle is built around a cornerstone of light, a radiant artifact that normally repels all darkness. Something has compromised it, and when they investigate, they find the source. Maleficent has returned, and is attempting to fill the cornerstone with darkness and corrupt the castle from the inside out. To figure out what's happening, Sora, Donald, and Goofy return to Hollow Bastion to seek out Merlin's counsel. However, he teleports them right back to Disney Castle so he can see for himself. Merlin has a theory. The corruption isn't happening in the present. It's being inflicted from the past. Someone has traveled backward through the castle's history and is tampering with the cornerstone before its protections were fully established. The only solution is to follow them and seal their entry to the past. Sora, Donald, and Goofy step through a door and into the timeless river, a world rendered entirely in black and white, where the edges are softer and the rules are simpler, and everything moves with the elastic, bouncing logic of an old cartoon. Here he encounters a younger Pete, not a villain yet, and a younger Mickey Mouse, who is always getting into trouble. As Merlin predicted, the modern Pete has come to destroy the cornerstone before it can be enchanted, and Sora and the others must stop him without breaking the timeline in the process. They manage to stop Pete with a little help from the Pete of the past, and the door Pete used to enter the past is sealed shut. The cornerstone holds. The past is preserved, and the future Disney Castle, Queen Minnie, everything built on that foundation of light, is safe once again. Back at the castle, Donald is reunited with Daisy, his very special sweetheart. She is angry that he forgot about their date, and as she chases him around the room, the Keyblade responds to the cornerstone of light, opening a new passage to another world. Back in the present and back on the road, the next gate opens onto salt air and cannon smoke. Port Royal, a world of pirates and curses, and men who believe they are beyond the reach of consequence. Sora and his friends find themselves caught up in a conflict, as Captain Barbossa and his cursed crew, aided by Pete's Heartless, have thrown the Caribbean into chaos. In town, Elizabeth, the governor's daughter, is taken away by the pirates, and Will Turner needs help to get her back. Sora and the others help him, but it isn't enough. Therefore, to help them chase the pirates out to sea, they enlist the help of Captain Jack Sparrow, a charming yet unreliable pirate. Aboard the Black Pearl, Captain Barbossa explains their curse to Elizabeth, telling her they were cursed by stolen Aztec gold. To end their curse, they must gather all the scattered pieces of Aztec gold and return it to where they found it, and repay their debt with the blood of everyone who took it. As Elizabeth gave the captain Will Turner's name as her own, he believes her blood will set them free. However, as they offer up her blood, nothing happens. Will Turner appears and saves her, and back on the ship, they realize that it wasn't her blood they needed, but rather Will Turner's, as his father was a pirate. Returning to the island, Captain Barbossa stabs Jack Sparrow, but it is revealed that Jack is also cursed and cannot be killed. The same applies to Barbossa, so they are at a standstill. But just at the right moment, Will Turner offers up his blood and ends the curse of the Black Pearl. Barbossa is defeated, and order restored to the seas. As they celebrate, the Keyblade resonates with Jack's compass, and the next gate opens. The desert heat of Agrabah hits them the moment they arrive in the next world. As they walk the streets, they are followed by Iago, Jafar's feathered henchman, who tells them he has changed his ways. As they are attacked by Heartless, Iago helps them out so they agree to take him with them. They meet Aladdin and his monkey Apu, who had just stolen a lamp. Iago recognizes it as the vessel that holds Jafar. To buy the lamp, they must get a treasure from the Cave of Wonders, but Pete arrives ahead of them. They find the treasure, but Pete calls a horde of Heartless to make their life more difficult. Thankfully, they're able to take care of them and return to the surface. Back in Agrabah, they find Pete stealing the lamp, hoping to turn Jafar into a Heartless. Suddenly, the genie returns from his trip, after having been set free by Aladdin. Pete summons Heartless to do his bidding, but Sora and the others defeat him and seal Jafar's lamp away. Afterwards, Apu brings a gemstone from the Cave of Wonders. The Keyblade resonates with the stone and opens up a passage to another world. Halloween Town greets them with its usual mix of cobwebs and enthusiasm. Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King, tall and skeletal, and endlessly delighted by everything, has discovered Christmas. He's preparing to give the holiday his own personal touch. He arrives in a flying sled, pulled by skeletal reindeer, joyful bells sounding as he wishes them a Merry Christmas. Together they set out to look for Santa Claus, or as Jack calls him, Sandy Claus. Sora's excited, but there's a problem. Maleficent has sent her Heartless into both Halloween Town and its neighboring Christmas Town. At Santa's workshop, Sora and the others come face to face with the one and only Santa Claus. Sora asks if he's on the nice list, but according to the list, 7 years ago, Sora said he did not believe in Santa Claus. But Santa is more concerned that Jack has returned, remembering all the trouble he caused last time. Sure enough, trouble has followed him, as Lock, Shock, and Barrel break into the workshop. As they make their escape, they leave footprints behind for them to follow. Back in Halloween Town, Maleficent's plan becomes clear. Oogie Boogie has been brought back and set loose on Christmas Town. Sora and Jack team up to cut through the Heartless, put Oogie Boogie down for the second time, and stop both holidays from collapsing into each other. Christmas is saved, Halloween endures, and Jack, as always, learns very little about boundaries. Afterward, Sally gives Jack the Santa Claus outfit he asked her to make, and as he leaves, the Keyblade resonates with it, opening a path to another world. Before Sora leaves, Santa tells him that if he wishes to find his friend Riku, he must believe he will find him, just as he found Santa Claus, after choosing to believe in him. Atlantica is different. There are no Heartless here, no Nobodies, no organization schemes lurking beneath the waves. For once, a world isn't in danger. It's in love. Ariel, the little mermaid, is dreaming of the surface world and of Prince Eric, while Ursula waits in the shadows, ready to exploit that longing. Sora's role here isn't to fight, but to help Ariel with her troubles. It's a strange detour, a brief pause between conflicts, before the journey continues and Ursula is defeated once again. The journey next brings them to the Pride Lands, a world inhabited by animals, where Sora, Donald, and Goofy take on new forms. Sora becomes a lion, Donald a bird, and Goofy a tortoise. They meet Nala, a lioness and childhood friend of Simba, who tells them that the Pride Lands are dying. The grasslands are withered, the herds have scattered, and a hyena army patrols the borders. All of it is the work of Scar, the current king. After seeing Sora and the others defeat the Heartless, Nala asks for their help in taking back the kingdom. Nala brings them to Pride Rock, but Rafiki, a wise mandrill and spiritual guide, explains that Sora cannot be the one to defeat Scar, as doing so would make him the next king. Before they leave, they spot Scar standing atop Pride Rock, with Pete at his side, once again supporting a villain and waiting for the darkness in Scar's heart to grow into something he can use. Since Sora cannot take the throne, they go in search of Simba. They find him living in hiding, burdened by the guilt of a kingdom he abandoned and a father he could not save. Sora understands that weight and helps Simba see that running away from the past will not make it disappear. Together they return to Pride Rock, where Simba confronts Scar. The truth comes out, the betrayal, the murder, and the lie that drove Simba into exile. Scar falls, and Simba takes his rightful place as king. with his father appearing to him once more. The Pride Lands begin to heal, and Sora unlocks the path forward. As they unlock the next gate, Axel appears on the Destiny Islands and approaches Kairi, asking her to come with him to see Sora. Kairi doesn't trust him, and instead slips away through a dark portal, left behind by a mysterious man in a black coat, which leads her to Twilight Town. By coincidence, Sora's next destination is also Twilight Town, where he encounters Sykes. The organization member warns him that Axel has gone rogue and is planning to turn him into a Heartless. He adds that Sora should be careful if he doesn't want to end up like Riku, though he offers no explanation. Not long after, Hena, Pence, and Olette find Sora and tell him that Kairi was with them, but Axel took her. As Sora examines a piece of the Struggle Tournament trophy, something stirs within him. It's Roxas. And then he is gone. The Keyblade reacts to the trophy, opening a new path, and Sora follows it back to Hollow Bastion. Back in the castle that never was, Sykes reports to the organization that he has planted a seed of doubt in Sora's heart. Their leader is pleased. When Sykes asks what will come of Axel, he is told that Axel has chosen his path. All that remains for him now is their pity, for chasing after something like friendship, despite being a nobody. In Hollow Bastion, Sora runs into Cloud, who remains as distant and focused as ever. He asks Sora to keep an eye out for Sephiroth, offering no further explanation. Aerith arrives soon after, asking Cloud to make sure he comes back, no matter what darkness he faces. Around them, the city is filled with people chasing their own goals. The Gullwings, 3 small fairies named Yuna, Riku, and Pain, work under Maleficent, gathering information and observing from above. Tifa is there as well, searching for Cloud with quiet determination. Everyone is looking for someone. Everyone is holding on to something. Sora takes it in, but keeps moving. In Ansem's old study, Sora comes across a computer terminal. He doesn't know what it does, but he interacts with it anyway. The response is immediate. The system activates, locks onto them, and pulls Sora, Donald, and Goofy out of reality entirely. One moment they are standing in a dusty room. The next, they are inside a digital world. The world is cold and precise. Black surfaces traced with glowing lines. Everything reduced to data and structure. This is Space Paranoids, a system created by Ansem the Wise, and now controlled by the Master Control Program, or MCP. A program that has grown beyond its intended purpose, and rules the system with complete authority. Its enforcer, Commander Sark, commands its defenses, and even controls Heartless, proof that the darkness has spread into the system itself. Sora and the others are captured almost immediately and thrown into a holding cell. There they meet Tron, a security program originally designed to protect the system, but now imprisoned within it. Tron remains calm and focused. He knows how to escape, and more importantly, he knows how to fight back. Together they break free and push through the system's defenses, working toward restoring access to a terminal that can return Sora to the real world. However, Tron requires a password to fully regain control. They uncover a clue hidden behind a portrait of Ansem, and King Mickey appears just in time to help decipher it. Donald and Goofy are relieved to see him again, but there is no time to talk. The MCP is already responding. Sora returns to Tron, survives the system's challenges, and inputs the password. The MCP attempts to take full control, but Tron outmaneuvers it, rewriting the system from within, locking it out and reclaiming control. With the system stabilized, Sora, Donald, and Goofy are sent back to the real world. Back in the real world, Mickey tells Sora something that changes everything. The portraits in Ansem's study, the research notes, the name that has followed them since the beginning, none of it is what it seemed. The Ansem Sora defeated before, the one who opened the door and commanded the Heartless, was not Ansem at all. The real Ansem, Ansem the Wise, was a ruler and researcher, a man who studied the heart and the darkness around it out of curiosity and care for his people. The enemy Sora thought he defeated was only an imposter. The real story runs deeper, and somewhere out there, the true Ansem is still alive. There is no time to process any of it. The ground shakes and the invasion begins. Heartless and Nobodies flood into Hollow Bastion from every direction. Not a raid, but a full assault. The streets fill with enemies, as the Restoration Committee rushes to defend the city. Leon takes command. Yuffie and the others spread out and hold the line. Even the Gullwing fairies abandon Maleficent and join the fight. Everyone is drawn into it. Amid the chaos, Sephiroth appears. He has no interest in the battle itself. He is here for Cloud, and Cloud alone. The fighting intensifies. Heartless and Nobodies press in from all sides as Cloud and Leon stand back to back until Sephiroth arrives and draws Cloud away. Mickey tells Sora, Donald, and Goofy to go and find Riku and Kairi, insisting that they will handle the battle here.
We'll take care of this fight, haha!
He says, but Sora refuses to leave. Instead, all of them push forward into the heart of the conflict. While the battle rages above, Xemnas moves unseen beneath the city. Deep below Hollow Bastion, in a hidden chamber known as the Chamber of Repose, he finds what he has come for. A suit of Keyblade armor, a relic of the past. Xemnas regards it with familiarity before moving on. On the surface, Sora fights his way through the chaos and encounters Demyx. There is no hesitation this time. Demyx calls him a traitor, and the fight begins in earnest. When it ends, Demyx fades, and the organization is left with one less member. As they regroup, a boulder is hurled toward the king. Goofy steps in front of it without hesitation and takes the hit. He falls, unmoving. For a moment it seems like he is gone. Mickey's composure breaks. He throws aside his cloak, summons his Keyblade, and prepares to strike back.
They'll pay for this, haha!
He says as he rushes forward. But soon after, Goofy stirs again, shaken but unharmed, and the fight continues. They push forward, and this time Xemnas appears before them, lowering his hood. He looks like the Ansem Sora once fought, but he is something else entirely. Mickey sees him and understands. The real Ansem once had an apprentice named Xehanort. Brilliant and ambitious, he was the one who betrayed him. When Xehanort fell to darkness, his heart became a Heartless that took Ansem's name as its own. That was the false Ansem Sora defeated. But when that happened, something else was left behind. A nobody. That nobody is Xemnas, the leader of Organization XIII. Before they can reach him, they are forced to cut through wave after wave of enemies. The Heartless seem endless, filling the battlefield as Sora carves a path forward. When he finally reaches the other side, Xemnas is waiting. He does not attack, he speaks. He recognizes the name Xehanort. When Sora asks about Kairi and Riku, Xemnas offers only a single answer. If he wants to know about Riku, he should ask the king. And then he vanishes. Without hesitation, Mickey follows him into the darkness, leaving Sora and the others behind. Then Axel appears. He finds Sora in the aftermath and tells him the truth, or at least a part of it. Every Heartless Sora destroys with a Keyblade releases a heart, and those hearts don't simply vanish. They gather somewhere. The organization has been counting on that from the very beginning. Every battle Sora has fought, every victory he has claimed, has been feeding their plan. Before Sora can fully take it in, Zyke steps in and forces Axel back. He is calm, completely in control. He confirms what Axel said. Sora has been collecting hearts for them, and he will continue to do so, because they have Kairi. As long as she remains in their hands, Sora has no choice. The hearts he releases will gather and form Kingdom Hearts. The one thing the Nobodies believe will make them whole again. Maleficent arrives at last, as if she's been waiting for the right moment to enter. She dismisses the organization's claim to Kingdom Hearts and declares her own. She tells Sora to keep fighting the Nobodies, as it suits her plans as well, but makes it clear that they are not allies. Even so, Sora hesitates. He cannot bring himself to keep using the Keyblade, knowing what it will accomplish. Seeing this, Maleficent sends him away, casting him into the realm of darkness, intending to make use of him later. In the realm of darkness, the man in the black coat leaves something behind for him. A small box containing a bar of sea salt ice cream and a photograph of Roxas and his friends. Sora doesn't know the name Roxas, but it comes to him anyway. The Keyblade reacts to the ice cream, opening a path forward that leads him back to the worlds he knows. At Beast's castle, Belle and the Beast are sharing a magical moment in the ballroom when Xaldin returns to finish what he started. The organization member who once tried to twist the Beast's heart now takes a more direct approach, going after what matters most to him. At first they believe it's Belle, but they soon realize that Xaldin has taken the enchanted rose itself, and with it the Beast's hope of breaking his curse. The Beast loses his resolve and tells everyone to leave. But Sora refuses to let him give up. Xaldin captures Belle and forces the Beast to choose between her and the rose. In the end, Belle breaks free, taking the rose with her, and together they face Xaldin and defeat him. With the threat gone, the Beast chooses to hold on to what matters, and Belle stays by his side. What remains is not a ruined castle, but a place that finally feels like a home again. Returning to the land of dragons, the situation has changed. China is under threat once more, but this time the danger comes from Xigbar. Operating from the shadows, he's been stirring up Heartless across the land. Sora and the others pursue him, together with Mulan, tracking him all the way to the Imperial Palace. But Xigbar slips away before they can stop him. Even so, there's still work to be done. A massive Heartless emerges, something far beyond what the army can handle alone. Mulan stands her ground, just as she did before, and Sora joins her without hesitation. Together they bring the creature down. And in the aftermath, the Emperor revealed that a man in a black coat had come to warn him of the danger. Sora takes it as a sign. It might not be much, but it's enough to believe that Riku is still out there. Back in the underworld, Hades is once again putting a plan into motion. He has launched a new tournament, the Hades Cup, and once again, Meg is caught in the middle. If Hercules refuses to fight, he will never see her again. This time, Hades has added another advantage. He has found a way to control Auron, bending his will and forcing him to fight on his behalf. To free him, Sora and the others track down the source of that control, a statue Hades is using to bind Auron's will. While Hercules keeps Hades occupied, they seize the statue, and as they do, they catch glimpses of Auron's past, the life he lived, and the people he protected. They return it to him just in time. Auron regains control of himself and turns against Hades. Enraged, Hades seizes Meg and casts her into the river of the dead. Hercules dives in after her, and for a moment it seems like he is lost as well. But he returns with her in his arms, shining with a strength that feels almost divine. Together they defeat Hades and cast him back into the depths. As they part ways, Auron reflects on his life he has lived protecting others, and considers what it might mean to finally choose his own path. As Sora and his friends leave, the gods mark their deeds in the sky, drawing their likeness in the stars, so that everyone might know them as heroes. Their journey continues, and they return to Port Royal. The curse should have been broken, but the streets are still filled with cursed pirates. Luxord has arrived, an organization member who treats everything like a game of chance, and he has revived the curse. The Black Pearl has been taken, and the seas are once again thrown into chaos. Jack Sparrow is exactly where he always is, in the middle of it, chasing a plan that could either work brilliantly or fall apart at any moment. Sora joins him once more, and together they fight through the cursed crew, break the enchantment again, and reclaim the ship. Luxord retreats into the darkness, leaving the outcome for another time. But for now, the seas are calm again. In Agrabah, trouble returns just as quickly. The peddler releases Jafar from his lamp, and while Aladdin tries to contain the situation, Jafar escapes into the desert. Sora and the others give chase, but just before they catch up, Iago confesses he's been working for Jafar, leading them into a trap. He regrets it, but the damage is done. Jafar's true plan is to strike the palace, forcing them to turn back. They arrive in time to stop him, and in the process, Iago risks himself to protect Aladdin, earning back his trust. Jafar is defeated once more, and peace returns to Agrabah. They return to Halloween Town again, where trouble has taken a different form. Santa's workshop has been robbed, and every present has been taken. Christmas is in danger once more, and once again, Jack is at the center of it. Santa suspects him, but Jack insists he is not responsible. To catch the real culprit, they set a trap, hiding inside a giant present. The thief turns out to be one of Dr. Finkelstein's experiments. They defeat it and recover the stolen gifts, saving Christmas yet again. As Jack celebrates with Sally, Sora watches them dance, reminded of Kairi and how long it's been since he last saw her. Back in the Pride Lands, things have changed, but not entirely for the better. Simba is king now, yet the land still struggles to recover. As they travel to Pride Rock, they encounter a vision of Scar, a sign that something is not yet resolved. Simba is uncertain how to face it, questioning what his father would have done. Sora and the others remind him that he is the king now, and that the choice is his to make. When Simba confronts the ghost of Scar, fear takes hold of him and he runs, just as he once did before. The ghost follows him to the oasis, where Sora and the others help him find his courage again. This time Simba stands his ground. He returns to Pride Rock and defeats Scar's ghost for good. The Pride Lands begin to move forward once more, even if there's still work left to be done. Hollow Bastion calls them back one final time, and this time the situation is worse. Ansem's old laboratory, buried beneath the city, has come back online. It's generating Heartless from raw data and sending them straight into the streets. The attacks are no longer random. They are controlled, produced, deliberate. Sora and the others return to the system to help Tron. The MCP has tightened its control. Commander Sark has mobilized its defenses, and the digital world is beginning to collapse under the strain. They fight their way through it, pushing deeper into the system until Sark falls, and soon after, the MCP itself is brought down. But the victory comes at a cost. To fully restore the system, Tron makes a choice. He merges with it, giving up his sense of self to rebuild everything from within. It is not quite death, but it is an ending. The program who fought alongside Sora becomes part of something larger, something that will outlast him. The change spreads outward, through the system, through the machinery, through the very structure of the city above. Hollow Bastion begins to shift. The ruins fall away, the broken towers rise again, and slowly the city returns to what it once was: Radiant Garden. Its true name, restored at last. There is little time to take it in. Sephiroth appears in the streets, drawn as always to Cloud. Sora holds him off long enough for Cloud to arrive, and the two are pulled into their familiar conflict once again. Sephiroth insists that no matter how many times he is defeated, the darkness within Cloud will always bring him back. Tifa arrives and tells Cloud that her light will help him keep Sephiroth at bay. Strengthened by her presence, Cloud faces Sephiroth again, and the two disappear, their battle continuing elsewhere. Sora turns his attention back to the photograph he found: Roxas, standing in Twilight Town, with a mansion behind him. The same mansion where Sora first woke up. If there are answers, they must be there. He returns to Twilight Town and finds Hayner, Pence, and Olette outside the mansion. King Mickey arrives soon after, and together they investigate. In passing, Mickey reveals that the money pouch he gave them earlier came from Riku, confirming that the man in the black coat they've been seeing is him. Inside the mansion, they discover a hidden laboratory. Equipment lines the walls. All of it is designed for a single purpose: to construct a digital version of Twilight Town, a simulated world created to hold one boy in place while another slept. Sora doesn't yet understand the full story, but the pieces are starting to fall into place. He travels into the simulated town, the other Twilight Town, the one that existed only to imprison Roxas, and finds what he's looking for: a door. Sora, Donald, and Goofy step through, but they are overwhelmed almost immediately. Nobodies pour in from every direction, and then Axel appears. He steps between Sora and the Horde and starts fighting. He tells Sora that Sykes has taken Kairi, that she's being held in the Organization's castle in the world that never was. And then he pushes forward, beyond his limits, unleashing wave after wave of fire that tears through the Nobodies and forces a path open. It is more than his body was meant to handle, but he keeps going anyway, knowing exactly what it will cost. The Nobodies fall, the way clears, and Axel collapses. Sora goes to him, but Axel is fading, his form breaking apart the way Nobodies do, when they have nothing left to sustain them. He apologizes for taking Kairi and admits the truth. He only wanted to see Roxas again, his best friend, the one who made him feel like he had a heart. He tells Sora that being with him feels the same. With what little strength he has left, Axel opens a path to the world that never was and tells Sora to go. Sora steps through into a city unlike any other. Towering buildings rise above an empty skyline, neon lights cutting through the darkness. The world that never was exists between light and dark, suspended over an endless void. Above it all hangs Kingdom Hearts, a moon formed from stolen hearts, glowing with an eerie light. As they walk around, Sora is attacked by a figure in an organization coat, wielding a keyblade. The fight begins without hesitation, and something about it feels familiar. The world around them fades, and suddenly they are somewhere else, standing on stained glass within Sora's own heart. The fight continues there. Sora wins, barely. As his opponent falls, memories surface. Roxas remembers the moment he was given his name, formed from Sora's own. He finds Axel again, not in the battlefield, but on the clock tower, sharing one last moment together as they once did. The hood falls away, and Sora sees him clearly. Roxas, the boy from the photograph. The one who lived a life Sora never knew. He looks at him and says only that he makes a good other. Then he is gone, returning to Sora's heart. Sora stands alone again. The street is empty. Nothing around him has changed. The fight happened entirely within him, a clash between two halves of the same existence. Inside the Organization's castle, events begin to converge. Naminé has found Kairi and helped her escape, and together they run through the empty halls. But Sykes is waiting, already expecting them. What he does not expect is Riku. Riku appears behind him and forces him back, but when Kairi pulls back his hood, the face she sees is not his own. It's the face of Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. Sora ventures further into the castle. Sykes turns on him and declares that Sora is no longer needed. Kingdom Hearts is complete. The castle erupts into chaos as Sora is attacked. Kairi watches, unable to stand aside any longer. Riku sees it and understands. He places a keyblade in her hands, drawn from her power as a princess of heart. Kairi takes it, and for the first time she joins the fight. Pete and Maleficent arrive soon after, forcing their way into the castle with her own purpose in mind. They are not there to help Sora. They are there to tear down the organization and claim whatever is left behind. Their goals simply happen to align for now, nothing more. Elsewhere in the castle, Mickey finds Diz, but the truth can no longer be hidden. The bandages come away, and the disguise falls with them. revealing the face beneath. Ansem the Wise, the real Ansem, alive, having worked in secret all this time. Once driven by revenge against his former apprentice, he now seeks only to correct what was set in motion. Sora continues upward, but is stopped by Zigba. He calls Sora Roxas and attacks without hesitation. Sora, Donald, and Goofy defeat him, and Zigba fades, leaving the organization with one less member. At last, Sora finds Kairi. She is safe, standing her ground, holding a keyblade as if it had always belonged to her. They embrace, and for a moment everything else falls away. Then, Sora turns to the one who saved her, the man wearing the face of Xehanort's Heartless. Not recognizing him, Sora thanks him. Kairi takes his hand and places it in Sora's. In that moment, Sora feels it. Not the darkness, not the disguise, but the heart beneath it. The one he has known since they were children, building rafts and watching the sunset together. Riku. He's been carrying that darkness, wearing the face of an enemy, because it was the only way to protect the people he cared about. Sora finally sees him for who he is, and the weight of it all breaks through. This time, the tears are his own. At the top of the castle, Ansem the Wise prepares his final act. He has constructed a device meant to encode Kingdom Hearts itself, to convert the gathered hearts into data, and dismantle the organization's plan piece by piece. The machine hums to life, and the air itself begins to tremble under the strain. Before Sora can reach him, Luxord intervenes. He traps Sora in his game, separating him from Donald and Goofy. It becomes a battle of chance and control. But Sora wins, and Luxord fades, leaving nothing behind. Sykes is the last one to stand in their way before the summit. He abandons his composure and fights with everything he has left. It's a brutal clash, but in the end he falls. As he fades, he reaches toward Kingdom Hearts, toward the heart he sought to reclaim, and disappears. Only the leader remains. Sora finally asks the question that has followed him since the beginning. Why do they all call him Roxas? Riku answers plainly. Roxas is Sora's nobody, born the moment Sora became a Heartless to save Kairi. He lived for a year, formed bonds, had a life of his own, and he still exists within Sora's heart. They reach the summit where Mickey stands with Ansem. The machine is failing. The hearts are too unstable, too powerful to be contained. The readings spike. The structure shakes, and Ansem the Wise understands what's about to happen. He does not run, he stays, accepting what comes, and offers a final apology to Roxas before the machine erupts. The explosion tears through the sky. Kingdom Hearts fractures, and the stolen hearts scatter, falling like fragments of light and giving rise to new Heartless as they descend. In the blast, the darkness surrounding Riku is stripped away, and his true form returns. Ansem the Wise is gone, consumed by his own creation. The battlefield descends into chaos as Heartless flood the area once more. Maleficent and Pete take advantage of it, bending as many as they can to their will and turning them against Xemnas. It's not an act of alliance, only opportunity, but it creates an opening. Sora takes it. At the highest point, Xemnas waits before what remains of Kingdom Hearts. He calls on Sora to continue gathering hearts, to rebuild what has been lost. Sora refuses. Still, Xemnas presses on, retreating into the remains of Kingdom Hearts to claim what power he can. He insists that he understands the heart in a way Ansem never did. A doorway forms, and Sora and the others follow him inside. Inside, it ends the way it always had to. Sora and Riku stand side by side against the leader of Organization XIII. Xemnas fights with everything he has, drawing on light, on darkness, on the stolen hearts of countless worlds, shaping them into weapons that answer to his will. The battle stretches across the sky itself, shaking the very structure of Kingdom Hearts. and in the end, he falls. He reaches for more power, insisting he needs more anger, more fury to sustain himself. But Sora tells him that there is more to a heart than that. Xemnas can't remember what that might be, and then he is gone. They try to leave, but Riku finds he can no longer open a path. The darkness he relied on is gone, spent completely. There is nothing left to draw on, and no way out. They are trapped. Naminé appears, and opens a final portal. And as she does, Roxas emerges from Sora's heart, not to fight, but to see her. They stand together for a moment, understanding what they've always known. As long as Sora and Kairi remain together, they will too. Not as separate lives, but as something quieter. Something that exists within them. Kairi steps through the portal and tells Sora she will always be with him. The door closes, and Sora and Riku are left behind. The castle begins to shift. It rises and twists, reshaping itself into something alive. A massive mechanical dragon forms from the remains of the fortress, lifting into the void. Riku takes hold of a glider, and together they rise into the air, weaving through debris and closing in on the creature. At its core, they find what drives it. A suit of keyblade armor, controlling it from within. It fights with a force that feels older than anything they understand, but they destroy it. Xemnas rises again, this time with nothing held back. He attacks with a fury that surpasses everything that came before, and Sora and Riku meet him together, matching him strike for strike. Light and darkness moving in tandem. Two paths that led them to the same place. This time, when Xemnas falls, he does not return. The last member of the organization fades, reaching for a Kingdom Hearts that is no longer there. The Nobodies surge one final time, a last wave with no one left to guide them. Riku steps forward and holds them back, pushing himself to the limit to keep Sora safe. When the last of them fades, Sora catches him before he falls. They steady each other, and ahead of them, a light appears. It leads them out, but not home. They find themselves in the realm of darkness, standing on a shore untouched by light. There is no path forward, no clear way back. For the first time in a long time, there is nothing to fight. So they sit. They talk, not about the battle, but about each other, about the island, about what they were before everything changed, and what they have become now that it is over. Then something washes ashore, a bottle, inside it a letter. Kairi's letter, written long ago, sent out into the sea with nothing but hope behind it. Sora reads it, and as he does, he feels her, a warmth reaching out to him across the distance, across the darkness, her heart finding his. A door appears, the door to light. It opens. They step through and fall into the ocean, into the waters of Destiny Islands. The shore is exactly as they remember it. Kairi is there, waiting. She runs to them, and behind her, their friends gather, all of them together again. Sora takes out Kairi's lucky charm, the one she gave him at the beginning, the promise he carried through everything. He places it in her hand, and she grabs onto him. At last, the promise is kept. As things settle down, Sora and Riku speak quietly about how they found their way back. Riku believes it was Sora's heart that opened the path. Kairi joins them, carrying another message in a bottle. This one is from the king. It seems their journey is not over yet. Thanks for watching, please subscribe. There's more to come. Bye! Haha!